Hey PD, what's the worst thing someone could say about me? I stopped YouTube for a bit, but I've done it for about 6 years, and the only constant negative comment is, if you're so good, make and sell it yourself, why just make things for others? It's things like that. I guess that could happen. See, everyone says that. That's why I made this. I made it out of frustration. Of course, I can't be in the store 365 days a year, although there is someone who will actually run the operations. This time, I realistically created a brand to introduce it and explain the planning intent behind its creation and how we will move forward. I am currently near Sanghoe Station in Busan to present and detail these aspects. I will demonstrate and provide a thorough explanation. Is this Maguri Sanghoe? What is the meaning of Maguri Sanghoe? This seems to be the right location. This part called Maguri refers to the tendon or cartilage that is firmly attached to the bone of either cow or pig ribs. That area is referred to as Maguri. However, typically the rib meat, the cuts closest to the bone are the most tender. This is because the front and hind legs of pigs or cows move extensively, causing the meat to become tough and develop more muscle. It's not tender. But the belly, the rib meat, this area doesn't get firm from exercise, so the surrounding part is the most tender. Recently, the black and white chef Im Jang, the artisan mentioned bakpo galbi, didn't he? Bakpo galbi follows a similar concept. Since they don't trim the parts still attached to the bone, they keep them connected, slice the meat, and score it, which imparts the characteristic of tenderness. Our Maguri Sanghoe concept is also about offering the simultaneous flavors of the rib meat, the cartilage, and the pork belly that are connected to that Maguri section. So we named it Maguri Sanghoe, deciding to open a meat restaurant where you can experience all three. Do you have a separate interior concept? If we were to talk about an interior concept in modern terms, we could say modern vintage or something like that. But rather than that, if you look here, this area traditionally features spicy chicken feet. It's an alley. So if you look, except for our store, about 4 or 5 stores all have yellow signs. So we tried to make ours feel a bit different among these yellow signs, which is why we adjusted the tone and color palette to be distinct. Nevertheless, to prevent it from feeling completely out of place, the Maguri Sanghoe sign illuminates with a yellow light after dark. Therefore, I intended to give it a somewhat unfamiliar newcomer vibe. I'm not an interior design specialist, so I'm unaware of the precise terminology, but that was the general feeling we aimed for. Once we step inside, I'll share details on the interior design.
This restaurant's interior is a bit simple.
Typically, when anticipating a barbecue joint or a Korean restaurant, the walls are often plastered with menus or brand narratives, such as, our meat is raised in Jirisan Mountain, what we feed them, where we source them from, and so on. I wanted to avoid all that initially. I preferred a minimalist approach, similar to those popular atmospheric cafes where such details are omitted. So I wanted to bring that concept to a barbecue restaurant. While I wanted the overall tone to be serious because it's a meat restaurant, the built-in seating, the overall lighting, and the bricks in the back, the subtle orange tint in the space ensures that, even in its dimness, it maintains a sense of liveliness that is not overly subdued, infusing the atmosphere with warmth and vibrancy. Also, if you look, we removed the beverage refrigerator with the Chilsung cider branding that you commonly see in barbecue restaurants. While it doesn't cost a lot of money, we wanted the focal points here to still convey this upscale BBQ eatery is famous for its chic and modern aesthetic, heavily inspired by the use of artificial intelligence. The ambiance is both elegant and refined, creating a polished atmosphere. We utilized a variety of AI tools to determine the overall interior tone and color scheme for the design concept, including the selection of framed artwork displayed on the wall. Were all high-resolution posters printed from images generated entirely by AI. Each piece had its own subtle narrative attached. Regarding menu descriptions and similar details are already included in the tablet ordering system, so I wanted the focus to be on the plating and the flavor delivered via the tablet ordering interface. Most barbecue restaurants, when they open new places or renovate, spend a lot of money on the visible aspects. But instead of that, I wanted to focus on areas that aren't immediately visible and don't require huge investments. Those areas include things like these picture frames, the beverage refrigerator over there, and the restrooms, where I wanted to place points of difference. Anyway, now that we're talking about a meat restaurant, in an eatery, isn't the food supposed to be the main focus? I plan to order dishes, present them, and give a thorough description for each item. As for our dining experience, the flavor profiles would be the highlight. Signature dish, Maguri meat, odol galbi, and squid. You'll get the dessert at the very end, but I'm ordering it in advance. I will now go through the few main dishes we have ordered and explain each of them.
Let me introduce the standard side dishes. Maguri Sanghoe comes standard with pickled gochujang and gungchae. We also provide pickled onions to pair with the meat, along with a special accompaniment made with our unique sauce featuring Korean parsley and scallions. Furthermore, our basic set includes fermented anchovy sauce. This goes very well with rice, and you can also dip your meat in it after placing it on the grill, which is delicious. We also include our clam soup as a standard offering. While it's complimentary, if you request an additional serving, we provide the identical portion and quality for 1,900 won, which is equivalent to 1,900 Korean won.
Initially, as I previously stated, my goal was to create a sense of luxury without breaking the bank before the food arrived. Despite the limited scale, I aimed for a high-end atmosphere without hefty expenses. Meat restaurant, we wanted to use things like copper grills or garden, the kind used in Gangnam barbecue places, and we wanted to use good charcoal. Also, instead of installing a built-in roaster with holes, we wanted to use something like a brazier to give it a certain feel. To truly evoke that feeling, I believe it's counterproductive for a meat-centric restaurant to overwhelm diners with an abundance of side dishes, greens, and lettuce. Quantity doesn't impress. Instead, I aim to provide offerings that truly make a difference. So, we offer the clam soup, which sells for 8,000 or 9,000 won elsewhere, for free. And for the fermented anchovy sauce, we developed our own recipe, which you can eat cold in the earthenware pot. Place it here and consume it while it's still warm. My goal was to create a lasting influence in these specific areas. This is the Maguri meat, which corresponds to our restaurant name. We offer it plain, raw, and marinated. For the marinade, we prepare the base sauce in 2 separate stages. We blend fruit, boil the mixture once for aging, and then add other seasonings before letting the meat marinate for an additional day. Consequently, preparing this meat requires a minimum of 3 days. This is the odol galbi, which is pa-cooked, sometimes called odok galbi. When you think of odol pieo, pork cartilage, you might think of it as a very cheap food. But you should consider this an upgraded premium version of odol pieo that is unavailable elsewhere. As I mentioned earlier, this cut includes the bone, the maguri, and the meat all connected, all attached. When I open a meat restaurant, the first thing I think about is not giving lettuce or perilla leaves. As I always say, that doesn't show. If you give lettuce and perilla leaves, it's expected. For example, if you substitute them with other vegetables because lettuce is expensive, people think this place doesn't even give lettuce. I'd rather use that money for something else. That's my firm conviction. I ordered the apple highball. The owner who operates this establishment owns an apple orchard in Bonghwa, Gyeongbuk province. We use the apple sourced from there to create the syrup. You can see the apple syrup, which is packed with fruit solids at the bottom, and we mix this to make the highball. This same syrup is also utilized in the apple ice cream I will introduce shortly, gets utilized. So, the apple highball, and this is the meat just stripped from the maguri cut. Usually when you think of marinated ribs, you think of something sweet and salty with a strong flavor. But this base sauce is based on a Japanese-style sauce, so it tastes almost unseasoned. But there is a subtle seasoning flavor coming through in the aftertaste.
Oh, 맛있다.
We also offer spicy squid as an additional meat option because customers can sometimes get tired of eating only grilled meat. Therefore, to complement the meat's tail's potential, I believe there is a ceiling, but we prepared a whole squid for those moments when customers feel slightly satiated or wish they had a bit more. This whole squid is prepared by us by flavor it with seasonings, lightly blanch it, then coat it in a spicy mixture. When grilled over charcoal, it refreshes the palate beautifully, giving it a clean taste. You are now able to request additional servings of cold noodles or rice, marking this as the last phase of the meal. These dishes have been prepared with a spicy flavor and are best enjoyed when dipped in Japanese mayo sauce. This much covers the main items. There are more menu items, but since we are very full, we cannot show everything. You can think of the main dishes as being composed of what you see here, I think. This is something we are currently giving out, but it's a dessert planned for future sale. As I mentioned earlier, we use Bongwa apples, and we've preserved the apples like this syrup on top. Below the dishes lies a handcrafted croffle. This bowl stands out as the priciest item on the menu. The aim was to make a lasting impression towards the middle or towards the end of the meal. We serve the apple ice cream. The rationale for offering items like this is, as I briefly touched upon, when establishing a brand, engaging in branding efforts, or renovating a location, I believe that anyone with sufficient capital can invest heavily in luxurious interiors and sell premium products. Frankly, I think that's achievable for anyone who has the money. However, I don't think there are many people who can invest heavily in the areas that actually generate sales, open a barbecue restaurant, or rebrand a new concept. I don't think there are that many people. Therefore, I believe the way forward for restaurateurs looking to rebrand is to keep the foundational large expenditures moderate while emphasizing unique focal points that competitors overlook. Today's video serves as an introduction to our brand, offering viewers the chance to discover something novel. I hope that those tuning in will be able to uncover fresh perspectives and insights as they explore our creations. To be honest, I truly hope that you find a valuable perspective when reflecting on your aspirations. In any case, I am finished for now. I'm going to grab a little extra food before I leave. Thanks.